All right, guys. So today I want to talk to you about the rise and fall of my Instagram channel. How I got it we got it up from zero to around, I shit you not, 67,000 and then back down to 50,000. And what I learned along the way, and maybe it can be interesting or helpful to you if you are on a similar journey. So, just a little bit of background here. I'm gonna go back to January 22nd, 2023. This is the first day. This is the first image that I posted when I started taking this seriously and posting every day. So just a bit of a background. I was a freelancer. I didn't have much work, and I felt like I wanted something to ground me, something like meditation, something that I can invest daily effort in. And I decided that I wanted it to be also intertwined with a commitment that I'm going to be making for, let's say, around 10 years. Because up until that point, I felt like I've made commitments, but I always broke them like after a year or 2 years. And I've never made a commitment to go 10 years without stopping. So I really wanted to see what happens if I take it seriously like that for once in my life. Anyway, so this is what I did. I started posting. I started using this drawing thing for my own, let's call it, it was kind of like for my mental health, honestly. And so I started posting these things. And as you can see here, these are not drawings done from imagination. This is me just drawing like various reference pictures and just enjoying, the sort of like making lines happen, lines and pen happen on paper. And so this is what I was doing for a while. And then somebody told me that Instagram reels are all the rage, and that I should try posting reels. So I am going to show you. This is the first. Here you go. This is the first reel that I posted.
Find a picture that you think that is.
And as you can see, it has 800 views, which is a lot more than what my images would get at the time. And so I thought, well, this is really cool. And I accidentally developed a style that people really liked. And that was a sort of like, because I was too lazy to make, an actual reel that talks about something and yada, 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 yada. I decided that what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, just like a frame from every once in a while, like a frame every couple minutes when I'm drawing, and then piece it all together. And it created that time lapse that I would then share on those reels. And that's what I did every single day. So it looks something like this.
Hello, please have some zero effort content because this app doesn't care when we do put effort.
Right? So sometimes even less effort, just like one frame, one by one. Whatever, whether you see the pen or not. And I remember this reel was kind of like the first one that got like 250 likes and 2,000 views. I was like, holy shit. I did when I saw 2,000 views, I had no idea that you can get that much reach just for a drawing that I did not think it was even that cool back then. So I was doing this, and it was mainly, here's something that I did from my imagination. But most of what I did back then was going to coffee shops and draw some of these POVs and then post those POVs. And it seemed like a lot of people really liked them. And then something crazy happened. I posted this reel, and it got viral. So 64,000 views, that's pretty viral to me. 10K likes, that's pretty viral to me. And I kept posting. All kinds of stuff like this. As you can see, I think it's not that good yet, but people were appreciating. And I got more and more viral hits. So it's almost 700, 100,000. It wasn't every day, but it was a lot, right? Every week or every other week, I would get like 500,000 and sometimes 1 million, which really is a lot. Here you go, 2 million. And in my mind, I was like, 2 million for this? 2 million for this, man? But people really liked it. People really liked it. And so, I learned something when I saw this type of content do really, really well. I learned that my standards are very, very different, and they're different from everybody else's standards. And I should never shy away from trying things, even if I think that they're not, perfect, because there are audiences out there that might appreciate what I do more than I can appreciate myself. So if you're doing that kind of thing, maybe it's a thing to think about. So now I want to tell you what you're all, interested in, is how I tanked this account. And so I think it's worth mentioning that at this point, I have kind of built a brand, right? Without really trying to. I built a brand on these POV drawings for the most part. And the people that came for these POV drawings really liked them, and that's why they were following. And they were expecting more of the same, So it's those POVs, or maybe sometimes it would be something like those like an anatomy turnover thingies that I did every once in a while. But that was the walls that brand was living within, right? And that worked very well, and it provided a whole lot of followers. So just in terms of followers, for you to understand, it would be like at least 100 a day, and sometimes it would be like 500 a day or 1,000 a day. At this point, we're getting close to 60,000 followers, right? And still consistently getting a viral hit every week or every other week. Not everything does as well as anything else, but we are getting many, many viral stuff. But then here's the point where everything changed. Let's get to it. Everything's the same. Here, I'm starting to explore more directions here. And this is already, the account kind of like matured. I'm not getting as many followers every day, but I'm not losing him. But I'm not losing followers at any crazy rate either. So that's that, right? So I'm kind of stagnating at this point, but I'm still going, right? I'm doing much more stuff from my imagination. Not everybody likes it, but they're not leaving just yet. Here you go. Like for me, I'm loving my drawings more than ever, but the crowd kind of like goes like, well, this is not really what I know you for, but they're still sticking around. They're just slowing down. Here's what really broke it for me. Let me get to it. I posted this reel. And I thought it was funny, but what happened was that I stepped into a territory that not everybody agrees with, and that's nudity. It's nudity. And to me, it's like you have the two girls, they're kind of like naked, and then the little dude with his wiener out and stuff. To me, I thought it was super funny. I thought it was kind of like a male ego, sort of like a little bit of laughing at the, male ego sort of kind of narrative. But a lot of people were not happy, and I started getting hate comments and what the fuck is this shit? And I even got a couple of DMs like from really angry people. And I'm not gonna tell you what they told me, but I got some DMs, some really angry DMs. And so this is the first piece that lost me like 300, 400, maybe even, I don't remember how many, but like this is when I started losing like hundreds per day. But little old me, I was so fascinated by what I was doing that I was just doubling down. In my head, I was thinking, the guys that don't relate to it will go and new people will come. So I'm just doubling down, another one and another one and another one. But the more I post, here, these characters, the more people are confused, and it's kind of like just thematically and in every aspect, really, really different to what I was doing up until that point, even though I think technically and sort of like interest wise, it's much more like I loved it. I thought it's my best work that I did up until that point. But the audience that I built was not built for that specific thing. So one of the things that I realized in hindsight is that if you know that you're going to want to do a certain thing down the line as you're building your audience, you probably want to do it from the get-go. Like, get them used to the real you. So don't build a brand on values that are not exactly who you are. So if there's more to you that you know that you're going to want to show that from the get-go. Anyways, I was just doubling down, but the followers were decreasing with each one of these pieces. Even though there were fans that followed for that stuff specifically, and there were people from the old days that liked that. Most of the people, kind of like a large chunk of them, was angry enough to probably report my account, and I think that led to really tanking my sort of like Instagram, showing my stuff to new people. I started not getting any new people in my account not being exposed to new people at all. And most of the views that I got was from the audience that I already had, which even when they were not unfollowing me, they were just not engaged. So that's also a really bad sign. So I had this large audience that just don't care about what I do anymore. So they would see it, they would scroll past, and that would signal probably to the algorithm that something is wrong with my account. And I remember I even like looked up my account from a friend's phone, and what I discovered was that, unless I type it all the way through correctly and hit search, it would just not show up. So like it would not be suggested. Whereas before it was a pretty popular account. And even if I just like type like 3 letters, like if it's a Zyfit and I would type XYP, it would sort of like auto suggest it, right? That did not happen anymore. So I suspect that a lot of people reported my stuff, and that made it more difficult to advance. So at this point, I'm probably down to the 53,000 territory, and I'm looking at the numbers and I'm pretty bummed by the numbers, even though I never really set out to make this thing a huge thing. So, it's like I got all this candy, I got all that good stuff in the beginning, and I never really thought of it as something that I needed or cherished. But when I started losing it, it was obviously pretty painful. So it was a big lesson in sort of like, but yeah, I have to do what I want to do, and sort of like feeling the effects of that and how that affects the crowd. And then I just didn't care anymore. So I stopped uploading consistently, and I started experimenting with all kinds of stuff that I wanted to experiment with, like creating manga and doing all kinds of stuff. And up to sort of like more recent stuff where I started showing myself and talking to the camera. And part of it is starting this YouTube channel. And so I just want to talk about what leave you with a couple of things that I learned. And the first is, whether you want to or not, you're building a brand. And if you would probably want to expose the full range of you that you will want to expose at some point. Otherwise, you're going to create a misalignment with your audience. And if you have already created a brand and you're thinking that you want to explore more things, especially on social media, you should do it in a safe manner. Maybe introduce some of these new concepts in bite-sized chunks and see if it works. And if not, and if it feels too foreign to what you're already doing, you probably want to start another account if you don't want to destroy your current account. Second thing is that consistency builds brands on social media. So if you want to make it work, it doesn't really matter how good you are at a certain point in time. If you do it every day consistently for a long enough time, some people are gonna like what you do, even if you don't really believe in it yet. So if you're kind of like on the fence about starting something for yourself, you might want to just go ahead, start it, try to be consistent, and then sort of like see what happens as you do it, because something will happen, and I promise that to you. And the last thing is like the audience reaction. Don't take any of that personally. I think at first it felt very personal to me. And then what I started understanding was there are cohorts of people, there are like specific audiences that will not resonate with specific things. And that's just the way that the world works, right? You have hobbies and then other people have the same hobby. Not everybody has the same hobby, right? Not everybody has the same friends. Not everybody connects to the same thing. So whatever community you build, there are going to be people that stick around, and that these people probably resonate with most of what you stand for. And just don't take it personally with the people that don't, and don't confuse the people that are there for you too much, because at the end of the day, you are building a product, and nobody owes you anything. That's the sad truth is that. Overall, some of the loss of followers felt like a bummer, but I think actually the fact that I had any success on Instagram at all is sort of like what drove me to believe that I might be able to make something interesting here on YouTube as well. And that's why I created, that gave me the confidence to create this channel. So anyway, if you have your own thing that you're doing, I hope this might contribute to your journey in any way. And thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.